An interesting observation by Rabbi Eli Plotkin from Markham, Ontario. And he starts with this little narrative. A Jewish mother walks her little boy to the bus going the first day to preschool. Sweetie, please behave. Don't be nervous when you come into class, my love. Darling, take good care of yourself. Honey, make sure you eat all your foods and snacks I gave you. Child comes back from school and mother is standing there, open arms and welcoming him and hugging him. Oh, my dear, loving child. How was your first day in school? What did you learn? And he responds, Ma, I found out and I learned that my name is David. Endearing and cute and loving adjectives is certainly important. And if you speak some Yiddish or Hebrew, the list is endless. Schäferle, Schäpsele, Neshumele, my Kaddishl, my heart, my Malacho, my Süßkeit, Oizero, Neshumele, goes on and on and on and on. It is definitely important for a child to know how much we love him or her, but then having the name is equally important. And not only when we're upset at them, then when we're screaming, David, how come you did this? As if the name is just some kind of a insult, only to when they're supposed to get a punish. So we have this week, starting yesterday, reading the second book in the Torah, and it's called Shmois, Names. An entire book called Names. Bereshis, we understand, it's the beginning, and indeed it's the beginning, the story of mankind, of humanity, of the world, and so on. But names, what's the point of calling not just the parsha, but the entire book names? The next one is Vayikra, and he called. You understand? It's a constant call from God. Shmois, names. So maybe the thought is as following. There's an important lesson about the Jewish approach to the individual member of the community. Because what happens in a Shmois, we are being introduced to a new reality of the Jewish people. Until now, we had the patriarchs, we had individuals, we had the 12 tribes, all as individuals. And each one had their name. Avraham had the name, Yitzchak had the name, Yaakov had the name, and prior to this we have heard of Noach, and we have heard of all these individuals, Reuven, Shimon, etc. But now we're introduced to a community, Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish people, as a community, as a group, not as individuals. We're becoming familiar with the new reality. Although before we were always speaking about the family, but those families, we related to them in individual names. Avraham, Sarah, as I said, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, etc. They all had names. And we know the stories and we're familiar with them due and because and through their names. Here we start a new reality. Community. A group. Tells us the Torah. Remember, each and every one of these people have a name, an individual name. Shmois. They have their own qualities. They have their own potential. They have their own challenges. They have their own greatness and their own faults. But they should be seen as individuals, not as a collective group only. Sure, they're part of the group, but each and every one has their own name. We should not paint them all with the same brush. We should not all deal with them as they're all the same, because they are not. As the Gemara has an expression, they're same. Just like their physical features, their faces are different. It's quite mind-boggling. Billions of people, and each and every one looks different. But we have to know, so too is their character, so there's their way of thinking, and each one needs to be addressed individually. And therefore the Torah introduces right now, I'm going to speak now to the Jewish people, says God. They each and every one have their own name. And I, God, relate to them in their individuality, and they relate to me as their individual. This is also what we know that it says about Mashiach. Lo yidach mimenu nidach. Every single one will be reconnected. Why? Because each and every one counts, and each and every one is important, and each and every one of us together will merit to see the Geula